The US Open ended a week ago now, with Djokovic claiming his 24th slam, but the semi-final saga and the aftermath of the phone celebration still continues. And Chris Eubanks is now coming out to defend Ben Shelton. And this is the whole backstory to it. And it sort of started here with Ben Shelton's father, who had some words to say about Novak Djokovic after the defeat. He said he wants to be loved so much, Novak. He wanted to mock Ben at the end. It wasn't something he was doing just to copy Ben. It was to mock him, and that's too bad for that to come from such a great champion. And that obviously put the Twitter world into a complete crazy frenzy. And we had somebody who's quite a big voice on Twitter, Gina Bontempo, 140,000 followers. And she came out with a very elongated tweet. I'll read it to you now. She said, Shelton has become the perfect representation of the kind of American youth that are so coddled and spoiled by their parents that they always manage to turn themselves into the victim, particularly in situations that are slightly unfavorable to them. Notice how his father conveniently omits the fact that Shelton was trash-talking Djokovic the whole match. Shelton mocked Djokovic on the court in ways the cameras didn't even capture. And that would have all been fine because that's what athletes do. So when Djokovic beat him in straight sets, the match wasn't even close. He decided to return the favor. Shelton couldn't handle it. He pouted. If Shelton and his daddy can't take the heat, maybe they aren't ready to compete with the big dogs yet. Instead of being grateful for the opportunity to have so much exposure and to have such a wonderful tournament, they have chosen to go on a tirade against Djokovic and position Shelton as some kind of little victim. It's off-putting and weak. My family and I were thrilled for Shelton in the early stages of the tournament. I watched every second of his match against Tommy Paul. We were so excited to see a young American player doing well. I cleared my schedule to watch him play TFO, but if this is the PR strategy they're taking on Shelton's behalf, it's only going to do him a disservice in the end. He's becoming more unlikable by the minute. Alcaraz has every reason to be as arrogant as Shelton is. He actually has the game, the experience and the wins, and yet he still manages to be respectful and humble. Shelton could learn a thing or two from the Spaniard. Well, strong words there from Gina, and Chris Eubanks could not let this lie. He came out and he said, usually I wouldn't respond, but this tweet has so many falsehoods, I'm surprised Twitter didn't flag it. Absolutely ridiculous, with the clown emoji there 3 times. And these are the 5 tweets that followed. And he started off with this one. And it says, you would think someone with such a large platform would understand how much power words have. If Ben's style isn't for you, that's perfectly fine. But to go on to insinuate that he's been coddled by his parents is absolutely laughable to anyone that has been around them. To say that Ben trash-talked Novak in ways the camera didn't even capture makes me laugh, because you clearly don't know what trash talk is. Trash talk is usually directed at the opponent where they can hear it, for your information. And he goes on to say, to call Brian's one statement about the celebration a tirade is even more ridiculous, especially since he was asked a question about it and gave an answer. One statement equals a tirade. Just because you've seen that quote all over Twitter doesn't make it a tirade, Gina. Also, he went on to say, if Ben's style of play or demeanor on court isn't for you, that's perfectly okay. Personal preference. But let's not go around making baseless claims about his upbringing, who he is as a person, and things you know nothing about. And Vance there below saying perfectly stated. So those are the words of Chris Eubanks coming out to defend Ben Shelton and his family, knowing them on a personal level. What do you think? Do you just think he's backing up a fellow American? Or do you think that some of these young players, they need to be taken with a pinch of salt? They need to be able to find their personality on the court, and this has all been blown out of proportion. I mean, it's one of these things which one action can create such a big reaction. It's all up for debate still. I would love to see those two sit down, Ben Shelton and Djokovic, and then have a conversation about it. That would be great TV. I'm sure you'd agree. But let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Do you think Chris Eubanks should be getting involved? And do you like what he said? If not, I want to hear both your opinions. Smash a like and subscribe, and we'll see you for more tennis action coming up tomorrow.